Half-Life 2 is my favourite game. It's something I've been playing for over 20 years now. It was unlike any other game I'd played before.
A lot of games tended to focus on like one thing. Either this is the shooter game or this is the story game. And Half-Life 2 decided it kind of wanted everything.
Half-Life 2 was the first game where I'm like, there's characters here, there's story, there's emotions being conveyed.
The whole game is packed with memorable experiences. Stepping off the train for the first time and walking up that platform and seeing Dr. Breen appear on the giant screen above you.
The terror when you first enter Ravenholm and see zombies with their stomachs spilling out, coming towards you, headcrabs crawling around the ground.
In the coast, coming out from under that railway bridge, clambering all over those struts, over the pitfall below.
It's like you're inhabiting a different reality. And then, as if just using the technology of the day wasn't good enough, Valve decided to invent a whole bunch of new ways of doing things.
Things like the physics, it wasn't just a gimmick that was going on in the background, it was an integral part of the game.
The facial animation technology, the expressions that characters can make, was the best of its era.
You had a whole fictional world, which was entirely new. All of it has come together to really be a masterpiece that people still come to 20 years on.
But the real thing that I think has let this game keep on living is modding, is the fact that Valve was so open and so forward. And in the modern day, I think that lends itself to something like what we're doing here on Half-Life 2 RTX.
Half-Life 2 RTX started because we had 3 different teams in the community, all making their own Half-Life 2 remakes.
My involvement with the project started with Half-Life 2 VR, which was the last project that I worked on.
Before Half-Life 2 RTX, I was working with a team on a Half-Life Alyx mod, Project 17, which is a remake of a certain part of Half-Life 2.
And we have my own team, Raising the Bar Redux, which was kind of doing an alternate universe take on Half-Life 2, bringing in the cut content and a couple of story concepts.
The 3 of us combined as Orbifold Studios wanted to see what Half-Life 2 would really look like with path tracing.
You add in NVIDIA, a cutting-edge piece of technology in RTX Remix, and you have all the pieces.
The gameplay and the storytelling still stand up incredibly well, but we just wanted to recapture that sense of awe that we all had 20 years ago playing it for the first time.
What we fundamentally don't want to do is make this a different game. We just want it to be updated to the modern day with details that maybe Valve would have done and in fact has done with Half-Life Alyx.
But the original engine is 20 years old. There are things that we simply can't do that stand in the way of the vision we want to create. And that's where Remix comes in.
RTX Remix is the core of our remastering process. The original engine has very hard limits.
Remix allows us to completely bypass those limitations and update it all with modern AAA workflows.
It lets us do things like introduce PBR material so that, for instance, metal will realistically reflect light off of its surface.
We have fully ray-traced reflections and refractions on water and glass, and volumetric fog with cool lighting and shadows.
The hanging lights you can see now have their own physically accurate light source attached to them, where if an explosion goes off nearby, that hanging light will start swinging around and casting these dynamic shadows.
Then we've got other changes we've made, like in the original game, they would often make geometry out of very simple shapes.
Now we actually have full 3D detail in there, and it's all self-shadowing and reflecting, and it looks pretty stunning.
Half-Life 2 is a big game, there's a lot of assets to remaster, and so there's a lot of work to be done.
We have hard surface artists, material designers, we have character artists and particle artists, and even programmers.
I believe at this point we have well over 100 unique contributors, all community run.
Many of them are professional game developers in their day job, and they still love Half-Life 2 enough that they come home in the evening and they work for us.
It may have been 20 years since Half-Life 2 came out, but it's still an excellent game that everyone should experience.
There's a whole generation of PC gamers who were born and have grown up since Half-Life 2 first came out. and some of them will probably be playing it for the very first time with RTX rendering.
I hope when fans come and play Half-Life 2 RTX that we've recreated the ideal memory of Half-Life 2 on cutting-edge technology.
We're so excited to make this experience one to be remembered and to show this old friend again remade in modern glory.